Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And so the topic of this video is one day making six figures will look like chump change to you. And I think if you had told me this about 5, 6 years ago, I would have said you were insane because back then I was only making $20,000 a year. And it was a very frustrating and hard time in my life. And I could probably say that I learned and grew from it, but I don't recommend that for anyone. So what's the point of the story? Is that right now, if you're making under six figures, you might be of the perspective like, oh man, if I made six figures, my life will be complete. So back when I made 20 grand, I told myself if I make double my salary, which is 40 or 50 grand, I'll have more than enough money in the world because I could survive on 20 grand, right? And then once I made 100 grand, it's like, what's going on with my money? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's happening? And so that's why sometimes I actually feel poorer when I make more money than less money. I'm probably not as efficient too, just because, if you have too much money, you have like an exit door out of doing things the right way or a disciplined way. Now, but that's a topic for another time. But I'm going to give you two reasons why if you make if you let time pass and work on yourself and you actually make more money and hang out with the right people, that six-figure salary is going to look like chump change, right? So the first reason why making six figures will eventually look like chump change, especially when you do make it, is something called Parkinson's law. So I don't know if you ever heard of Parkinson's law of money. There's like the original Parkinson's law, and it was an observation made by a dude named Parkinson, hence Parkinson's law. But it was made by a dude named Parkinson, I think like in the 1800s or something like that. And basically, he noticed, right? If you're given a 3 hour job, that 3 hour job, no, I'm sorry. If you have a job that normally takes 3 hours, and then somebody says, "Hey, you have 8 hours to do that job is magically going to turn into an 8 hour job." And you could actually see this in other facets of life. So, for example, video game development, right, or just software development in general. Like if you had a video game that only took 2 megabytes of space in the 90s, and then you might have seen like re-release of video game classics where they just kind of make it playable on a modern platform, but they don't make any upgrades to the game. Somehow that 2 megabyte game in the 1990s, when it's ported into Android or a modern system, is now like 1 gigabyte, right? Like that's Parkinson's law in action. And Parkinson's law of money is simply, the more money you spend, the more money you make, the more money you spend, right? And so that's going to be the first reason why making six figures isn't really going to feel enough, right? And another reason why I know that this is actually true is because so many of you email me, right? Like you email me your velocity baking spreadsheets like unsolicited, and I see you're making 7 grand, 8 grand, 10 grand after tax a month, and you're still broke, right? And this is why I teach velocity banking. But in this video, I just want to emphasize that six figures isn't really that much, right? So if you're making it under six figures, once you make six figures, you'll be like, this isn't really that much, right? And there's other reasons for that, like there's the fact that the more money you make, again, I'm not an accountant, the more money you make, the more you get taxed on that additional money you make, right? I think. Again, not an accountant. That's I just read stuff and then distribute that information to you all. Okay, second reason why making six figures will eventually look like chump change to you is if you hang out with the right people, right? And so when I first learned about real estate investing, one of the things I was told back in the day, and I just did not believe this at all because I just thought that was insane, is that you have to learn marketing, you have to learn how to talk to people, and if you just tell random people about the deals that you're doing or just that you're learning real estate investing, people want to lend money to you. And you know what? I found out that's actually true, right? And so what I did is I actually posted an ad on a Craigslist type Korean website about, hey, I'm trying to recruit students to learn about, real estate investing. And so some Korean guy who's a little bit older, well, he's been doing real estate since the 90s, called me, said, "Hey, I have commercial plazas or properties all over the US. I think I got like 5 plazas or something like that." And he told me that he had one in Georgia and he was going to sell it off because he was frustrated with property management. And, I just said, he asked, if we could meet or whatever. So I went ahead and met him, you know, learned a lot from him. And one of the things I found out just from hanging out with him is that he was just showing me his bank account, and he was like, "Yeah, I got like a couple $1 million, and I'll lend it to you if you have a real estate deal where I can make money off of it." And I was like blown away because what I heard previously was true, that if you just talk to people, and again, this was just from a Craigslist type ad about I'm trying to get students to learn real estate investing, right? In a Korean website, and somehow I found a private money lender for $5 million. The problem is I'm not always actively looking for deals, just because I'm a little bit lazy, and one property a year or several years is good enough for me, right? But back to my point is that if you change who you hang around with, that really changes your perspective of what is or what is not a lot of money. So this older gentleman who I don't know if I would consider him a mentor, but he's a colleague and private money lender, just said to me, "Hey, I'll just lend you a couple $1 million if you have a good deal." And I'm like, "All right, so now if I got a millions of dollars of available capital to me, or available to me, that six-figure salary ain't gonna look like it ain't all that, right? You see what I'm saying? And that's really the two main reasons why making six figures is not going to look like a lot of money to you, right? Number one, Parkinson's law. The more money you make, the more money you spend. Number two, it's all about the people that you hang out with. So just like I talked about, if you hang out with other people who just have millions of dollars in their bank and they show you on their smartphone, "Hey, here's my bank account. I'm going to lend it to you if you want it," then it really will change your perspective, right? So that's something you got to be aware of. And again, this is why you can't be afraid to market yourself, even with just simple ads or a simple YouTube video or Craigslist, right? Like, people will contact you because people, even if you're a newbie and you know how to market yourself as a newbie, people will be interested. Just like me, if somebody starts a new velocity banking channel, and I kind of want to check it out. Maybe you'll give a new perspective that I never had, and you'll probably even be more popular than me. And if you are, then hey, awesome. I'll probably want to learn from you too. Maybe I don't have millions of dollars to lend, but maybe we could work together, and then hook. I can hook, or allow people to meet together so they can do deals. And I guess that would essentially be called brokering, right? Maybe I'd be a people broker. I don't know. But back to my point is that the people that you hang out with are going to change your perspective. And that's what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to, I don't know if recruit is the right word, but be around more people who think where where I essentially want to be, right? So if I meet more people where making a million or 2 million is just a normal day's it's just normal, that will essentially become my perspective. So hopefully that makes sense and I just didn't ramble on and on. But yes, that is the topic of the day. One day making six figures will look like chump change to you. And once you reach that point, before you reach that point, you'll think it's insane. But once you reach it, you're like, wow, that's so true. Okay, well, this is Korean Atlanta Mentorship. If you're interested in joining our group, go ahead and click the Google form link below. Other than that, see you all next video.